Apple clarifies Siri privacy stance after 95 million class action settlement. January 8th, Reuters. Apple opens new... I guess I should share a screen for this. Apple opens new tab clarified on Wednesday. Apple opens new tab clarified on Wednesday that it has never sold the data collected by its Siri voice assistant or used it to create marketing profiles, just days after settling a case in which it faced such accusations. The iPhone maker last week paid $95 million to settle a class action lawsuit in which plaintiffs alleged it routinely recorded their private conversations after they activated Siri unintentionally and disclosed these conversations to third parties such as advertisers. Voice assistants typically react when people use hot words such as "Hey Siri." The company denied those claims and did not admit to them in its settlement last week, in which tens of millions of Apple customers may receive up to $20 per Siri-enabled device, such as iPhones and Apple Watches. Apple has never used Siri data to build marketing profiles, never made it available for advertising, and never sold it to anyone for any purpose, Apple said on Wednesday. Apple issued the statement after social media users and commentators interpreted the settlement as confirmation that the allegations were true. In its statement, the Cupertino, California-based company said that certain features require real-time input from Apple servers, and it is only in such cases that Siri uses as little data as possible to deliver an accurate result. Apple does not retain audio recordings of Siri interactions unless users explicitly opt in to help improve Siri, and even then the recordings are used solely for that purpose. Apple said, adding that it will continue developing technologies to make Siri even more private. A similar lawsuit on behalf of users of Google, Google's Open New Tab voice assistant, is pending. I understand. The open new tabs are something copied over from the browser. That's wild. A similar lawsuit on behalf of users Google's new voice assistant, or Google's voice assistant, is pending in the San Jose, California federal court. The plaintiffs are represented by the same law firms as in the Apple case. This is from Reuters.
That is fun. I got a little tinfoil hat on this.
Okay.
I just believe your device is listening to you. And I've played with those experiments myself, and we don't have a child, but we'll talk about diapers, we'll talk about kids formula, we'll talk about kids toys, and what do you know what's happening in my ads the next day? I'm getting, Pampers ads and whatnot. Now that's not to say I'm not using Siri. I'm not using a voice assistant.
That's
a different thing.
Well, I think you and I are seeing this the exact same way.
That's a different thing.
What did Apple say in defense of themselves? Apple said Apple has never used Siri data to build
Siri
marketing profiles.
data.
That doesn't mean they're not using microphone data.
Yeah, that's Siri data. So, and it's very interesting. If they were in the right, they would have never paid $20 per device. They would have paid $0 per device.
I mean, if they felt that was cheaper than letting the lawsuit draw out, maybe.
Maybe. It's $100 million to Apple. That's $0. $100 million to Apple is $0 to Apple. They're sitting on billions in cash right now. They're one of the most cash-rich companies on the planet. $100 million is zero. Yep. But that's exactly. Our first question is, what does Apple's defense of Siri mean?
Not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot. It is not using Siri data. It is using another data source. Maybe.
Right? We don't know that.
Tinfoil hat, maybe.
You can speculate that it's potentially using other data.
You can do it yourself. You put your phone on the table. You talk about a topic that actually has nothing to do with what you're interested in. We used the one around kids. We don't have any young kids. There was no reason for a company to ever advertise this for that. And suddenly the ads started showing. So fine.
Now,
do it yourself.
Let's play that out for a minute. Imagine that that's totally accurate. Imagine that Apple is using microphone data to build advertising profiles. What does that actually mean in terms of user privacy and your sensitive information? Probably not a whole lot. Because when we imagine a company using recordings from your microphone to understand what you're all about, they're not having a human being sit and listen to those recordings.
You are not as important enough. You are not the president of of the United States. You're not a government official. Unless you are, you're not a general of an army.
Because one of our questions is this a security concern for businesses?
If you are,
but in terms of how they're using that data, the way it most likely works from like a business and programming perspective is it's just looking for keywording.
Yeah.
And then building advertising profiles based on those keywords without really knowing how accurate the keywording is and without ever having anyone specifically listen to those recordings.
Yeah. No one is sitting down and filtering Aaron's microphone data personally. But again, if you are a diplomat, if you are...
And you probably don't have to worry about those recordings leaking because they don't even want to store those recordings.
Yeah, can you
That's
imagine?
A lot of data for them to stick on a server somewhere to get no value out of. If they can listen to you talk for a while and learn from keywording that, oh, you have young kids, you might want to shop for diapers, and they can use that to serve diaper ads to you, mission accomplished.
That's it.
They don't want to hang on to the recording past that because that's just...
They're going to mix that data with your location services data, with some stuff around previous data that they've collected on your device, where you are, geographical information, some travel patterns, and they're going to say, hey, great, it's going to go into a bidding algorithm, and the people that are in your area are going to say, hey, there's another person that's had a kid, and there's another person you can sell diapers to. Great, and you're still... and this is all very, very speculative. I don't know how much identifiable stuff they keep on your specific device profile, but I'm assuming it's enough to create a very healthy advertising profile around you. But they're not going out there going, how do I get into your life and understand everything about you so I can manipulate you? Not really.
Different people see privacy in different ways.
Yes.
Right? Like, some people are just scared that their conversations are going to be living in a recording somewhere for other people to listen to and discover, and that would be bad. And for those people, I'd say you probably don't have to worry about it because it doesn't make sense for these companies to store that data.
But
and other people might be concerned, and some people might find that having an advertising profile that indicates they might be interested in diapers is an invasion of privacy.
Right.
Personally, I'm not really bothered by that. I like my ads to be for things I want to buy. So I like companies to have good advertising profiles on them.
Yeah, because you are going to get advertised too. It can either be a relevant ad or an irrelevant ad, and I hate irrelevant ads.
Yeah.
Hate them.
So, from a privacy perspective, I mean, I think there is stuff there to be aware of, but it's nothing I would panic over. I could conceive of a scenario in which a company like Apple might want to retain those recordings.
Oh, I can think of a few.
The obvious one to me is training data for AI.
Training data for AI is a big one.
Right? Like a vast library of conversations.
Two-person conversations, three-people conversations, for like how the dynamic works. Like, there's a lot of data there to train a model.
But I suspect before anything like that happens, that would be updated in the end-user license agreement to reflect that they're going to use your data that way.
Yep.
And then that would probably hit the news.
Yes, I'm going to read that 4,000-page updated terms of service, and it'll hit the news. And like most things, there'll be a very small minority of people that go, wow, this really matters. And there'll be everyone else that goes, I love the Apple product.
I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing.
Hit agree. And we're back in it.
One of our conversation questions is, what about Android devices? I don't think there's much to say there other than,
it's the same.
Expect all the same things.
It's not
We're
Siri.
We're going to have the same thoughts we have on Android's version. Yeah. We'll see what happens with the lawsuit, but I wouldn't put past Apple. I wouldn't put past Google either.
Google, like again, these are major players. These are not small fish. You've got Samsung, you've got Google, you've got LG. Like you have Amazon. You have the biggest of the big. They all are doing this.
Anyone who's building voice assistants has a relatively similar type of company.
Yeah.
And I would treat all of them very similarly. Is this a security concern for businesses?
For 99% of businesses, no.
Yeah.
If you happen to be in like defense contracting or military or banking maybe, or like big healthcare, maybe, but like you're going to have a team of people at that point that are going to guide you through that. So like the short answer is no.
And like if you're one of those businesses, you probably shouldn't have a smartphone anywhere near the work you do anyways, unless
be locked down.
Powerful security solutions are
BlackBerry still exists for a reason. And they are just locked down devices, and that company's still chugging along perfectly well. If you're at that level of like business we're not experts in the security field.
No.
I would be looking for someone else. You probably need someone internal monitoring that stuff all the time. And then Faraday cage.
Oh yeah.
You can, like, those are cheap. Go buy one.
We're not security experts.
Yeah.
So, like,
but very interesting to see, because, like, again, there's a lawsuit.
Yeah.
There's like an arbitrarily low amount of money to hurt Apple's nothing, and $20 to anyone who had a. So yeah, if you want to get in on that, I think it's US only.
Yeah.
But if you want to get in on that,
I had an iPhone, and I look it up.
yeah,
See if it did my
shout out, and then before we go on, shout out to Legal Eagle, because we both watch that programming quite a bit. That channel is awesome. If you haven't checked it out, go do it. It's like the legal side of everything. Really, really cool stuff. Very smart, healthy takes on stuff. I didn't realize the last little bit. I didn't realize his lawsuit company was. Oh, sorry. That's
You're
the legal.
jumping
Sorry, back.
So this is
actually wrong.
Confusing to anyone watching this clip.
Sorry, all the legal stuff. I didn't realize that Stone's Legal Team LLP was the name, but I believe Legal Eagle did a take on this as well, because he breaks down stuff like this. So.